you are a community club. DCFC is a community-built club. And it will always
team is pitching a plan to revitalize a historic gem in our community, and it's a project that's driven by their passion for their sport.
State of disrepair right now. Concrete sort of crumbling a little bit. The bleachers.
Football club. We're at Keywood Stadium. This stadium was built in 1936. Simply put,
it's amazing to see just how far they have come. Years ago, they were playing over at Gas Tech, and now so many people.
The post and Stephon St. Louis is there to clear it.
Yeah, in the background, they give us the 12th man. It's awesome.
Fans to watch. We're happy to put on a show for all these guys that came out to see us play.
When we move, they move, and just communication is the biggest part.
It was great. I think we could have earned a shutout earlier against Sparta in the year.
Awesome. The atmosphere is amazing.
Monday with the right foot. It's in the back of the net.
People know us now. People know what to expect. Now we gotta take it to another level.
Look, city till I die. Say hi to the bad fella. Hella smooth with the flow, so grab your umbrella. Yeah, we make it rain, bring the pain. Things are changing. Power rankings take a spanking, got them rearranging. They said Denise are all stars till we deboed all y'all. Ball a fist and brawl y'all. Yeah, we pissed off all y'all, and we thin but still winning. Grinning at the top, got up under head spinning, make that chin pop. Blue collar clocking in. They been mocking us for days till they step into the key, and they been leaving with a fade. Doubting us, but then they swayed. Say we pout, they throwing shade. You will never have what we have, time to get the blade. Cause we'll be cutting them up, yeah, we're shutting them up. We ain't bluffing, tell you something, better knuckle up. Y'all ain't nothing but chumps, we put in overtime. We'll be putting in work until it's closing time. City till I die, talking blood, sweat, and tears. City till I die, we've been building this for years. City till I die, this don't
I guess
happen
red is,
City till I die,
oh god, he already did it.
City till I die,
So I sent him that picture of him yelling at Connor after the game for forgetting 451 when he was on Matt Sheldon's podcast.
Never heard of it.
It's obviously less, impressive than ours, but
must have like 2 subscribers or something.
I know, 2 subscribers. Nobody knows what it is. Yeah.
He only gets his friends to go on.
Exactly.
He recorded some type of a wrestling promo, I think, to go along with the picture.
Oh boy.
We didn't. And why is Garrett logging on? We didn't invite Garrett to this.
Wait, no.
Who's this guy?
Motherfucker, I show up when I goddamn want to.
Jaime, cut him off, please. So
you missed Adam like wrestling with technology, and it had him in a headlock.
But I stomped on its foot. And got out of it. So, well, aside from Red recording wrestling promos and yelling at Connor for forgetting the 451 podcast on Matt Sheldon's podcast, we're back.
Can we talk about
we can't.
What's happened to Red since he's left this podcast? Rants
Out of
on
control.
Twitter every single match, photo bombing live recordings, calling out other media contributors of this club. He is a mad feral orange cat right now.
Yeah, it's
wading back into the online dating game.
Fucking bad. Is this a midlife crisis, y'all? Are we going there yet? Is this what it's supposed to be like when I eventually hit that level of age somewhere? I don't know. I mean, but it's looking like that, fellas. I'm concerned.
Well, yeah. Where do we wanna go from here? Because this is put together.
I think we said it all.
Yeah.
So good night, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in.
Can we talk about how babyface Adam is right now? I don't think I've seen him that clean fresh in a long, long time.
I took it down to a 1.5. I didn't mean to do that. So,
well,
But I want to get to what happened this past weekend. So why don't we go ahead and do that? City taking what, Alan?
6 points.
Jaime, tell me you got a still shot. We need an updated GIF.
Yes, I did get that actually.
City taking 6 points. 2-0 winners over the Charleston Battery. Caesar getting welcome back to Keyworth with the "fuck you, Caesar" chants, and then
also a booking.
yep, also a booking as well. Also, right after that, City take I don't know if I want to call it a stranglehold on the Great Lakes Division, but they put themselves one step closer to clinching the Great Lakes Division with a 2-1 win, first win in club history over Midwest United. Yep. Looked dominating for that first half. Things got a little dicey in that second half. But what do we want to start off with? Absolutely great game. Should we start off with the men since that was the first game?
Yeah. Chronological order, please.
Chronological order.
We're strict about these things here.
Maxi getting a goal in the 86th off of a penalty, handball inside the box, and then Elvis Mo getting his first goal at Keyworth in his second game back since coming back from injury to seal it in stoppage time. Alan, initial thoughts of how things went down Saturday with the men's side?
It was a great day. The weather was beautiful. The Keyworth was packed. I mean, it was one of the bigger crowds we've had there in a long time. And they got to see a couple great football games, or at least the ones that stuck around for the women's game. I thought that we played well in the first game. The men played very well. Looking at the stats, it suggests that perhaps that the Battery were more dominant than what it seemed like watching it live. And given their position in the table, getting a scoreless draw would have been, not the worst thing in the world. And then just right at the end, everything kind of fell the right way. Great seeing Elvis back. I mean, it's like now this is a second late sub in, and again, just like in the Rhode Island game, just like super high energy coming in. It was great.
Jaime, Charleston coming into that game reeling a little bit offensively. What are your thoughts of the win? And what are your thoughts? I mean, is this a quality win considering what Charleston was at offensively coming into this one? How do you see this one?
It's a top of the table opponent, so I think it's kind of like if we'd lost that game, people like John Morrissey would have been like hanking us in the power rankings and being like, oh, they can't beat any good teams. They only beat up on the bottom of the table teams. So yeah, I mean, maybe it's not Charleston in their best moment, but they're top 4 or 5 or whatever they are in the table. So to me, it's a quality win. I thought it feels like Maxi's kind of finding his form again. I think he had a little bit of a dip and maybe a little bit of injury issue for a bit. But I still think kind of as he goes, so goes the team, and not just obviously the penalty kick goal, but I mean he just looked like he was buzzing around the field again on Saturday, and I think that's a really good sign for us. Elvis, obviously, really well taken goal, like a collected, calm finish, like. That's what we brought him here for, you know what I mean? To get those goals.
Yeah, through traffic too.
Yeah, it's a goal scorer's goal, right? And so yeah, it's great to have him back out there, and hopefully he'll just get more and more minutes as he's kind of works his way back into match fitness. But yeah, all the way around, only positive vibes from me.
I know that Devin Kerr is probably going to diminish the win because talk about Morrissey. I don't know if you guys have listened to Devin Kerr and Mike Watts, I think that's his name, on Sirius for their USL show that they have there. I think the latest one was probably tonight because I think they record on Tuesdays. Just the biggest bunch of clowns you'll ever hear. It's Mike Watts. I'll tell you this: Mike Watts is the guy that drives through an unfamiliar neighborhood and immediately locks his car doors when he's inside the car. That's the type of guy Mike Watts is. He's the guy that will drive through Hamtramck and immediately start sweating bullets because he sees it looks like a bad neighborhood. That's Mike Watts. Listen to him.
He'd do that in Warren, let alone Hamtramck, man.
He'll do it. He will find a bad part of Dearborn Heights and probably do that same exact thing. So
he'd do it in Garden City too, probably.
He'd definitely do it. Yeah, he'd do it in Garden City. He'd do it up and down Michigan Avenue, going through Westland, Garden City, Dearborn Heights, Dearborn. Then you're not going to get him.
We can't forget that.
Yeah, you're not going to get him to be able to cross over Telegraph on 4th. So,
he's probably okay with Birmingham, though.
Oh, he's probably excellent. He's probably excellent with Birmingham.
Not where it borders Clawson. He'd probably freak out.
Oh yeah, well, let's not go overboard.
Too slow of a speed limit there. Clawson Cops would get him for sure.
Garrett, Jaime was talking about Elvis and his return. It almost seems like Elvis hasn't missed a beat, given the way he looked against Rhode Island when he came in. I thought he should have had 2 goals against Rhode Island. He made it very, very close. And then he finally found the back of the net this past Saturday against Charleston. What are your thoughts on Elvis' return and your thoughts in general regarding the win?
I think it's something that tells you, look at how this team's kind of had a little bit of a spark. 1, since Elvis Amos' return. 2, since we've kind of tinkered the shape a little bit. And I think that also, it seems like Danny's playing goalies based off of keepers based off of matchups now. Going Carlos Saldana in again. And I think it was a smart move. I mean, the way Charleston had to change how they moved the ball the first 15, 20 minutes of play because they weren't able to do anything. Like, I agree with Alan. If you look at the ball numbers, yeah, Charleston had the possession, Charleston had the stats, but we had the shots, and we were the ones going north-south on them. And I think it's a testament to, that shape. I think Elijah needs a shout-out, honestly, because not only did he step in and, doing the pivot work with James Murphy, but also Ryan Williams comes on as well. I think he was the last sub of the game for City, for Ben Morris, and we're seeing Y out wide, and he didn't miss a beat. And I think Danny was talking in the scrum afterwards about how he wants to kind of see utilize more of what he thinks is Ly's explosiveness. And you know what? We got 2 goals out of that. I think Ryan Williams has got a good set piece option. Gets that second ball in, Ly forces the option, Maxi buries the penalty, and I agree with Maxi's jump. The higher Maxi plays up the pitch, the more trouble and chaos it causes for opposing teams. Like, I wouldn't have ever thought of him to be as a second striker, but it's what looks like what he's doing. And then when you got Elvis with him right now, it's fun. This is like, I hope we can strengthen up a little bit so we don't run the risk of an injury right now. But I feel like at this point right now, we are seeing what this team could potentially be. Where even though there's going to be the fixtures coming in hot and heavy after this friendly.
Jaime was given a little bit of a smirk when you started talking about keepers and playing matchups. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Jaime, and now Jaime's shaking his head.
I don't buy that. I don't buy that, honestly. So this is like exactly what Arteta was saying at the beginning of the year in the Premier League. Oh yeah, David Raya, Aaron Ramsdale, we got 2 number 1s. Nope. He played David Raya. Like, Raya was always the guy that he wanted. He brought him in. He was always the guy that he wanted. And he, like, after, like, the first line of trouble with Ramsdale, he was out, and Raya played the rest of the season. So I don't think it's going to be Saldana plays a game, and then Nate's back in there, and then they keep rotating. I don't buy it. I think he's brought Saldana in, and I think he's gonna roll with Saldana, honestly.
Do we want to place a wager if Nate starts Birmingham behind me? Do we want to do a side bet to the Ben Morse bet that we already have this year?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'll take Saldana.
Spicy.
You're gonna take Saldana? I say Nate for Birmingham. What are we wagering? Does this go into the Del Taco bet, or is this something completely on the side?
Wait, is there like a dessert place right by Del Taco that we could go to after we Del Taco, like a Frosty Boy or something, or a
Dairy Queen? You want to do Dairy Queen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Love a good Blizzard.
Adam, mark it down.
Yes. Okay.
Mark it down,
like Aaron Ramsdale, is Nate's dad going to start commenting to the media about Nate not getting?
I would have thought so. Yeah. Anyone got his Twitter account? Nate's dad.
We also
not fair.
We can happily also report that Carlos Saldana has received his bolo tie post Charleston Battery. So that has been successfully added on. So Carlos,
we're gonna win the league now.
Yeah, we'll win the fucking league.
Alan, what do you think? You think they're gonna flip flop goalkeepers?
Yeah, I can't see I can't see Nate just like fading into the sunset, the keyword sunset. I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but it just seems unlikely. It makes sense to switch it up a little bit. Like, for example, in the international friendly against Pumas, they're both going to play.
Sure.
Clearly.
Sure.
Yeah. And that makes sense. So I guess it's just a question of like form. If one or the other player their form dips, then I don't know what this bodes for next season. More, right. I think this may be the final season for Nate Steinwasser, but in
Didn't
terms
he sign
of like
a big contract though?
I think he signed a 2-year extension over the winter, right?
Well, you know how kind of flexible these contracts get.
We had a retirement on the second year this year already.
Yeah, and the departure of Ali Cooch, which I'm sure we'll talk about here in a sec. But
what? Wait, what? He's leaving?
Before we get
it's in the newspaper.
Oh yeah.
Before we get to that, Adam, what do you think for Birmingham?
I think what's weird is Nate kind of looks a little bit similar to Aaron Ramsdale, which makes this whole thing a little bit more.
You're the one that has the most support, trauma from this experience out of all of us.
And I mean, is there a little bit of a resemblance between Raya and Saldana? I don't know.
He doesn't have cowboy spike like Saldana though.
It's even better. It's an even better analogy than I thought. But look, on the basis of form, so you're saying form or whoever.
How'd that work out for Arsenal, by the way?
Well,
shut up, Alan.
But as it pertains to Birmingham, though, right? Like, I mean, if it's really about form, Saldana's come in and put up 2 clean sheets, right? Like, you can't pull. If it's really about form, you can't pull him now because he's done nothing wrong. He's been great.
That's absolutely correct.
Short week too.
City right now, when it comes to their keeper situation, is probably in their best spot that they've ever been in.
It's a great luxury to have.
I mean, since they've been pro, the last legitimate keeper that you could start day in and day out since we've gone pro is Gene Antoine, right? And did we really even have a 2-keeper set? Because Nate wasn't even really playing.
Parker Siegfried started that tournament, but then Gene took the role and then carried it.
Yeah, so I mean, City hasn't really had this, this situation since they've gone pro. I mean, beyond that, I really wasn't around then. I don't know. Has City ever seen a situation like this? You guys have been around longer than me.
No.
Where they've had 2 legitimate.
I mean, the NPSL days. In the NPSL days, they did have to have Nate plus someone. Usually, there was just always usually 2 or 3 goalkeepers, just because kind of rolling. But yeah.
I mean, can we agree that Saldana can be a legitimate number 1 keeper?
Yeah.
And I think he's the future. He's definitely I think the number 1 for this club. As long as Danny's here, Carl's going to be here, I feel like.
I mean, it is. I definitely see where Jaime's coming from. I'll put it like that because Saldana came from Sacramento. Danny came from Sacramento. You can't. It's hard to look past that connection right there. I mean, you see it all the time in sports. You see coaches or GMs. If it's a coach, they may bring in players that they're more familiar with. If it's a GM, they may bring in a coach that they're more familiar with. So, this isn't. Jaime's thinking here isn't out of the ordinary. In fact, you could make the argument that it's very ordinary. It's very common. Is that better? Is that better, Jaime?
I was thinking more along the lines of astute.
It's very okay. It's very astute. It's but
these guys are also, both of them are on the practice pitch.
Sure.
So I think that's got to factor into this too, is what the training staff is seeing day in, day out. And, I think it's probably a mix of performance and also just in what they're seeing in practice that is going into some of these decisions. I've even in the Premier League, what the way that goalkeepers are used and thrown out, it's kind of amazing. They come and they go. So you think you have a starting goalkeeper that you'll have for 10 years, and all of a sudden they're gone. So there is a bit of turnover that does happen. I think it's less typical, perhaps, that you'll have kind of 2 goalkeepers both on the boil. But so I would just say from my experience watching the game, it is probably likely that we are seeing a shift in that position. But I just don't know if we can say authoritatively, oh yeah, Nate's done. He's going to ride the bench the rest of the season, because it doesn't seem like his form. Like he started the season and he looked pretty good. I don't know if there's enough there to say, well, he's done. So I don't know.
City is the Arsenal of the United States. I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel about that. But
also, I just want to point out, to Alan's point, for how long is this podcast? We've been doing this tunnel talk, 3 years or something like that now.
42 years.
We on a regular basis we've been saying things with no authority, as if we had complete authority. So
we've also been very accurate too in these non-authority places too. So
We've also been saying that Nate Steinwacher is the best goalkeeper in the USL Championship. So I don't think we're ready to say that isn't true anymore.
I did like the comment Danny was saying also in the scrum about not only are Nate and Carlos driving each other and training every day in the competitive thing, but they seem to get on. He goes, get on well with each other. He says that's something that goalkeepers of the similar levels usually struggle with, that because they're fighting for a job on that. So I think if that's
right, because there's only one of them can play,
right, and especially now that we're out of the cup, so I think we got what we got. So we got Pumas, we got Legion midweek, and then we're at Miami, who we call Miami the Michiana of the Eastern Conference Championship.
Before we look ahead to those games, let's finish out the weekend and talk about the women a little bit. 2-1 winners over Midwest United. Big win. Garrett, you called it the main event of Saturday. When you were talking to Dave Dwayhe. Why don't you start out and give us your immediate thoughts on the big win?
So I think it's safe to say a lot of us were frustrated Wednesday night, the 0-0 draw at Cleveland Force. Granted, Cleveland 4 days later decided to beat a very depleted, heavily rotated Flint City side 7-0 to tell us to fuck off, but that didn't happen yet. However, the next night, Midwest United had to travel to a Kalamazoo, which had a better stream service than our game a couple weeks ago. And Kalamazoo was the better team in the half and 5 minutes that I saw about that match. They're the ones with the ball. They're the ones that were creating pressure. They were the ones that were forcing the issue. So it showed anything that the fact that Midwest really got a late surge in the game after the water break in the second half of that shows that this is a Midwest team that is not the heavily fortress side that's found a way to beat us over 8 times in a row since the summer of 2020. I know there was some concern amongst us. I know, Alan, you were chatting with, I think it was Adam Spence and I, before the start of the men's game, and I know there was general concern because we know that it was a heavily rotated starting lineup for our side on Saturday. But I think it's a testament to not only Dave Dwayhe, but also I think that PASL core in the winter. So Danny Evans on the coaching staff, Lisa Baran, Gabby, Kayla, Bella Sabo, who got minutes today on Saturday, that people are able to slot in. And the fact that we're finally seeing Joelle Washington, we were unable to really see her last year. I think it was injury related, right? And the fact that Joelle Washington and Kayla Addison up top in that, Spence has referred to it as the 4-4-2. It's a boxy 4-4-2 as opposed to a diamond. They just fucking ran havoc in that first half. And it was... We had Adam, who's all intent with us in match 2. A whole bunch of Amici's pizzas boxes. Sal with us. Shout out to him also for first match day recap stuff too. He crushed it. It was good. I was not worried until maybe that phantom penalty call, but even then, Midwest struggled to have the ball. So I think it's a statement win, and I don't know if I've ever seen Dave Dwayhe that animated as he was. They're coming over the handshake line. And I was like, hey, it's all great. He eyeballs me. He's like, let's fucking go. Just gives me a big fucking hug. And it's just...
I've never heard Dave swear.
Dude, he was pumped.
He's a teacher. He's a school teacher.
Exactly.
He's also a United fan.
Molding the future of America.
Well, you said he's a United fan, so he probably actually swears a lot when he's at home.
He had to touch my Crystal Palace side, do the double five ever. So, but you know what? I think it's for Kayla Addison, for Lisa Baran, Gabby Schreiber, all those, Hannah Crum, all these players that have gone through, and if not all 8 of these prior defeats, but most of them, for the fact that they were able to be there and play that game on Saturday and get that win, which is, that's a big hurdle that they've climbed. And it's in their hands now. That's how I feel.
Alan?
Yeah, I mean, look at the lineup before the game. It was a bit of a concern because it was a lot of different names on there starting, and which is normal for these type of games. The season's half over. We're heading into the summer, and not everyone's available all the time. Whether it's personal stuff, other soccer stuff. I mean, it's just like sometimes you have to pick and choose with who you got. And I didn't really think about it too much, but I think Garrett's right that perhaps we've got a side within the side that we can lean on that we probably didn't have in the past. That core of non-collegiate players, former collegiate players, however you want to look at it. And if that's the case, then that's going to be a boost in these final games. That if we can rely on those players who have that body of experience playing together, that's pretty exciting. But I think we're seeing some new partnerships. We're seeing, I think we're seeing the kind of performance that we thought we were going to see against, especially Kalamazoo. I still say that the game against Cleveland was not a bad game. Just didn't score.
Those games happen.
But I think they were doing all the right stuff. But the game against Kalamazoo, they did look a little sluggish. And it just wasn't clicking. So, it's one of those good news, bad news situations. The good news is the division is competitive, probably for the first time. The bad news is the division's competitive for the first time, and it's gonna be tough. All these games are gonna be tough. Even the ones we're expected to win. There's just no margin. So that's kind of the picture we're looking at. But we definitely made a statement on Saturday, beating a team that we've just struggled mightily against. And I hope that kind of is the kind of boost that takes us all the way through the rest of the fixtures. So it's looking good.
I mean, you were the first one to kind of bring up Joel Washington the other day, prior to the Cleveland match. You're the one that mentioned, hey, this Joel Washington's making an appearance. She was supposed to be on the squad last year. Never made it around to getting in the line. Who knows what happened? Again, with these summer teams, there's a whole bunch of different circumstances that could come into play as to why they end up not playing a game for City or whoever. I guess, what are your thoughts on her impact, especially considering, Lily Jekyll probably isn't coming back this year. But what are your thoughts on Joel kind of, coming in, providing that spark, and your thoughts in general on the game from Saturday against Midwest?
Yeah, I think that's a good point because, Lily Jekyll and Chiampa and I think Adele France, they were in kind of the sort of the first choice attackers early in the season, and to great success. They were playing really well, and now I think Faith Weber played the other day, got in there and scored. So and Joelle Washington now this past weekend. So I do think that there is something to be said for this depth of the squad. I think a couple years ago in that last game against Indy 11, we had to throw Shriver out as the striker. We didn't have anyone else on the bench. It's just so now you've got and Joelle Washington plays for Georgia. She's that's a top program in the SEC, Division I, legit soccer, right? She battled. I thought she was really good. I mean, she's not like a physically imposing player, but I thought she battled, and it looked like when she came out for the second half, it looked like she was limping a little bit even. But she hung in there and fought, and she's got pace. So yeah, I thought she was great, and I mean, there's a bunch of the players. This was the first time me seeing them on the field. Like I hadn't seen Nina Ferraro play. She's great. Like there's just a lot of really good players in the squad at the moment. So hats off to Dave, and I'm sure Danny was involved in the recruitment as well. But like they've got not only just like names, but they've actually got players like available to them, and that to me is one of the big differences from this year compared to any of the other years. So yeah,
I think we also wanted to talk about real quick, since you were talking about some names in there, and at least Baran. How about Adam? I'm going to talk about this. How about that? I think German dominant language fan club that was on the West spectator side during the women's match.
Trying to get
it was wild. It was wild.
Yeah, it was great. I think I saw Jaime in there too, kind of leading some chants with for
Herr Ventura.
And
I'm well known for my German.
Das ist super und fantastisch, ja.
I know a few swear words in German.
No, I was just saying, leading chants for
they have a lot,
and the other German players on the team.
Is there other German players on the team?
I don't think so.
Oh,
nice.
So maybe an Austrian or something, a Swiss.
Could be Austrian or
Swiss exchange student.
Swiss, yeah. But yeah, it was quite the sight.
Also,
luckily,
because that was the best crowd all season yet, and I'm really glad at least it wasn't 71-72 from the first game, but I'd say at least 3. Did they announce the attendance?
No.
The first half, I thought a lot of people did stay. There was quite a few people that cleared out at halftime.
Right.
But still one of the bigger crowds I've seen for the women in the last few years. So that's good.
Team also doesn't have to report the attendance in USOW. So, but yeah, I'm just glad the German chants were great. I was glad they didn't mess with our audio in the post match. But
that was
I'm sure if Red was part of it, he'd be doing everything he can to be trying to lead that chant, so it will fuck with our audio. But we've got Michiana coming up Wednesday or tomorrow, today, depending on when you listen to this podcast. And then we have Kalamazoo on Saturday as the first game of the doubleheader. Alan, thoughts about Michiana, who we already beat? What was the final net? 5-0?
Yep.
5-0.
Could have been 10. We were off that night too.
Yeah, I think that's the one I predicted across the board. I hit my parlay on that one. I said we would win 5-0 and Lily Jacob would get the brace, and she did. So
she missed the penalty and she still got a brace.
Yes. So 5-0 in that game, and then we come back for that another big matchup against Kalamazoo. Good potential. I don't know if we could seal it or not. I guess I don't know things. I don't know. Alan, go ahead. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, not too many worries going down to South Bend, other than it's a travel game, and it's going to be 10,000 degrees out there. But yeah, I don't expect too many issues there. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I'm not too worried about it. The game on Saturday, that is significant. If you look at the standings for the division, it's a draw won't do. If we're really serious about capturing a playoff slot, we gotta get a win. So, and that's pretty true with most of the games with the 5 games left.
How many make it? Is it the top 2?
Top 1.5. So there's a playoff. No, it's not a playoff. It's whoever's got the best points per game between the second place teams between Heartland and Great Lakes gets a playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
four conferences, 1 second place team per conference usually.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, that's it. I'm done.
Go ahead, Jaime.
No, yeah, we'll win 4-0, I'm sure. I just was Googling. I was just trying to Google map the stadium to see if maybe I could sneak over, and it said 51 hours travel time to the stadium for Michiana. But then I realized Google Maps was switched on to walking. The walking
Better
mode.
get going, man. You're late.
I think there's just enough time if I start now.
So we got to end the podcast now so Jaime can start walking to Michiana to make the game.
Yeah.
So
it's not the walk there that's bad.
It's the walk back.
It's the walk back that's tough.
Always.
So yeah, Jaime, anything else? Michiana should win. Kalamazoo, obviously going to be a little bit tougher.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the big one. But we, with the game, we've got a game in hand on them, and we're 3 points clear. So I do think that we've got, even if we tie that game, I mean, obviously not ideal, but I think we're still in good shape going forward. So,
Garrett,
I think the bigger matchup to look at tomorrow is not us and Michiana. It's Kalamazoo going to Flint at Atwood. Flint City, Kalamazoo beat them 4-0 the first game, but Flint may be causing chaos because Flint still hosts. They host Kalamazoo on the 19th, and they host Midwest on the 23rd. So, I'm not worried about. I mean, is it a trap game? Could Michiana hold all the defenses, and we could have another Cleveland potentially? But Michiana also just lost 8-2 to Ann Arbor on Sunday. So they've been. Yeah. So.
If we lose to Michiana with them having 8 losses out of 8 matches and a -31 goal difference, I will buy you another Dairy Queen.
God damn it. I feel
Wagering
good about
is out of control at channel 451.
But Saturday, I feel like obviously. So yeah, let's see how Kalamazoo does against Flint tomorrow. But honestly, Saturday's huge when you look at before each team plays their games tomorrow. It is the 2 best defenses in the league by far. You got a City team that has scored 15 and allowed 3 and 8 versus a Kalamazoo team that's only allowed 4 and 9. I think I almost argue, and some might call this a hot take, but maybe I'm, yeah, we have a big friendly in the evening against the Liga MX side. I argue that the game with more impact is at 4:00 on Saturday. That's Detroit City versus Kalamazoo W League. Because
I don't think that's hot at all.
No, obviously it's. I mean, you have a game that has no implications on any league play, and then you have one that has complete implications on league play. But
so get there early and support the women. Dang it.
Yeah. Let's see our approach to tomorrow. How much heavy rotation, and if we can jump out to an early lead. When we played Michiana, the Thursday, what was it, May 23rd, I think was when we played Michiana. We weren't fully clicking. We won 5-0. We still could have, we could have put 10. Sophie Roman was stealing kids' souls in that first, and that was before she ripped the banner top bins.
Sophie Roman's my Black Arrow this year.
Without doubt. Adam, how weird I will say this though, how weird was it to not see her score a banner in person after
she had an assist though, didn't she?
I think she did.
The first one for Joelle Washington was her.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we can roll tomorrow. Our final after Michiana, it's Kalamazoo home, Midwest away, Ann Arbor away. Get the job done. It's in the sightlines.
Let's move over to the men's side. We've got the friendly coming up, first friendly since 2019, international friendly since 2019. Jaime, help me out here. It's Pumas, but what is it? It's Club Universidad Nacional, right?
It's got a long name. That's why everyone calls it Pumas, because the rest of it, no one can be bothered. Yeah, because it's UNAM. I don't even know what it all stands for, but yeah.
That's I think I just said it. It's Club University. It's like, was it Club What is Universidad?
Okay,
is that
so,
university?
Yeah, it translated to English for all the English speakers out there. National,
for all the gringos out there.
National Autonomous University of Mexico.
Autonomous University of Mexico.
Yeah. So.
And I'm glad that you explained it in English so that we do not have any meltdowns for people, English speakers that doesn't understand Spanish, like fucking lately.
Like who?
Too many people lately.
Oh yes. Well,
so there's no controversy in
none as far as I know.
There's not an A or an O.
I think there's only one translation of Pumas. So
okay, but they're not a college team though, right?
Not as far as I know.
Okay.
Just
they did finish 5th in the Liga MX table, right behind Club America and ahead of Cruz Azul. They are in their off season right now.
Preseason, right? Starting in the preseason?
Let's see here. They have... See, I'm looking at FOTMOB right now, and they don't even have...
Because Mexico plays like a spring and fall tournament, right? So they have like the summer off, and then like I think they're prepping for the start of the second half of the season.
Yeah, because it looks like...
Closets are, I just forget which one is what.
Yeah, because it looks like their season actually starts on. It looks like their season starts on July 7th.
Yeah.
So they might. It looks like they open up against Leon. But yeah.
Shout out to our buddy Manuel, big Leon guy.
Yeah. Jaime.
The only thing I know about Pumas is that there's actually a Peruvian guy on the team. But he will not be there on Saturday because he's at Copa America right now. So yeah. So beyond that, I know nothing about them.
So is that a good thing? Is that
not here?
Wait, which Peruvian?
Piero Quispe.
Oh,
up and coming star. Keep an ear out for that, guys.
So speaking of Copa America, is that a good? Is that good for us that Copa America is going on right now? So
probably I don't know how many I mean obviously the Mexican guys are in Copa America as well. So I don't know if Pumas has a big contingent on the Mexican national team, but presumably some of those guys will be there. Quispe obviously won't be there. So yeah, that definitely.
They do have a lot of Mexicans on their team. I will say that.
They also just
Unsurprisingly, they have a lot of Mexicans, but they do have an Argentine coach in Gustavo Lima.
I never liked that guy. It looks like their goalkeeper is in the Mexican national team. And then
Julio Gonzalez.
Yep, and then two of their forwards, Huerta and Martinez, are both in the national team. So yeah, those are three big names that they would probably be missing. So yeah, we'll definitely win now.
So from what I was wanted to confirm, so for Liga MX, the Apertura goes from July to December, and then the Clausura goes from January to May. That's the second season on that.
So they run like an old like Nisa type of schedule then, where they had a spring and a summer schedule.
A much more stable organization than our previous league.
For 100 years.
So does the winner in the spring have to also win in the summer in order to get a star above the crest? Or is there some type of stupid tournament before the spring league that you also have to win that in order to get to the final of the spring league and then have the opportunity to win the star, but then you also have to win the summer league as well?
I'm offended that you use the word stupid in conjunction with Nisa in any way, shape, or form. I feel like that's an abomination.
How dare you, sir?
I would have thought I would have heard that from our friend who's also apparently Nisa's financial analyst in Rod Green. I would have thought that they would have said that, but
well, he's going. That's why he's not here tonight. He's going over their book as we speak right now. Jaime, we've also have Birmingham next week, lead game, nationally televised here at Keyworth. Again, City kind of getting hot a little bit, coming off 2 straight league wins over Providence, or not Providence. I keep calling them fucking Providence, Rhode Island, and
that's like your 4th time done.
It is the 4th time, and Charleston. What are your thoughts going up against Birmingham as well?
Well, I think it's well documented my feelings on Birmingham Legion football.
You love them.
I think they're garbage. I think their stadium is overrated and
such an awful stadium.
Bloated. I think.
What are they? They're third fiddle to that stadium behind their university and their UFL winning.
Exactly. I think who's the Uruguayan with like the bushy beard?
Enzo Martinez.
Oh, they're
overrated. One of the most overrated players in this league. Not very good. As a professional footballer, it's almost a shame that we call him a professional footballer. And I would just, the record stands for itself. 4 wins out of 4 matches for Detroit City. Undefeated in the history of USL Championship against Birmingham Legion. We will once again be triumphant. Detroit City 4, Birmingham Legion 0.
How many times have you done this, and what's the scoreline been after you've done them this year?
I've always been spot on. Every single time I've predicted a 4-0 win.
Don't go back to the Pittsburgh film.
So yeah, 4-0. Thank you for your attention.
Garrett, what are your thoughts on Pumas, and can you get through talking about Birmingham without mentioning Kaler? Go ahead.
Pumas, I just hope nobody gets injured. We have a heavy, ridiculous stretch in league play going from the end of June through the end of August. The fixtures come in hot and heavy. There might be some 451 Majors Detroit representation popping in on Hammering Down.
Is it going to be you, and are you going to ditch our podcast for those podcasts again?
Well, I'll make sure I can do double significance unless Dennis is available to do it.
Garrett, can you tell them that you're going to go on, and then actually I'll go on, and I'll be like, Enzo Martinez sucks.
Yes. Yes.
I will say this though: when it comes to
Birmingham, by surprise,
when it comes to
ambush,
when it comes to Birmingham Legion, this year's Birmingham Legion is to me the definition of Jekyll and Hyde. They've done things like beat Phoenix the first game of the year in Phoenix when they're celebrating their USL championship win, and then they've also been railroaded 5-0 by Louisville before. We at least scored 1 in Louisville while allowing 5. 3-0 loss at home to Memphis. Draws with Tulsa. They've beaten Rowdies, but then they've done some other things too, like, just recently lose to Indy 11. Legions, the good idea for anyone also that has ESPN Plus, Legion do play San Antonio tomorrow night. That is their last game before playing us. However, Legion's next game after us is a home date with Louisville. So I feel very good about, I think we're getting them at the right time. I feel like right now, I think that I'm thinking back about that line a couple of weeks ago about Danny Dikos talking about how he's the worst loser ever. And now he's like I feel like he's on a spike tour. That spike tour continues. Limit the damage injury-wise against Pumas. Everybody play. So on there, because I just remember how the Atlas friendly was. Like, they didn't give a shit that we were a Members Cup side. They kicked the shit out of us like we were the Club America. We still beat them, though. But Legion on there. And then, do you think we're doing an episode before Miami? Or do we want to briefly talk about...
No, we're not talking about Miami right now.
Anyway, so...
What was I going to say? Maybe we should say that we're sending Garrett to go on that podcast, but then send Red.
Who?
And have their podcast go like 2 hours.
Do we want that? Do we want this version of Red on that podcast?
We should tell them that the player to watch is Ali Cooch.
Yeah.
I was going to say Danny Espeleta or Dominic Gasso, but...
Also, if we lose to Birmingham Legion, then we can come back on here and send it to Danny and be like, well, you know,
I will film it.
Trevor never lost to Birmingham.
Oh,
bro.
Oh, wow.
That's probably what Trevor's gonna say to Danny though too. He's like, you know, Danny, I for one have never lost to Birmingham, like just like that, and he's gonna put
exactly like that.
While we're talking about TMFJ, I want to note something that I was seeing in the handshake line. Something about not coaching anymore feels like that's like he's gotten that young. It's like Benjamin Button, if you know what I mean, for Trevor James.
Yeah,
like he looks almost like refreshed, like he was before joining Detroit City in 2019.
I saw him wearing shorts the other day.
Wore shorts?
Yeah, crazy.
He's gonna come out in like a Hawaiian shirt next time.
Like it looked like
and flip flops.
It's just carefree Trevor.
He's got like bangs almost. Like this is like a young boyish Trevor James. Like he's about to stick somebody in the midfield for Ipswich Town. Maybe because they voted too. So I don't know on that, but it's something wild on there.
Yeah, no, I've noticed.
He's gonna
I've
come out
noticed it
looking
too.
like Jimmy
He
Buffett.
seems quite relaxed. Yeah, I mean it's good for him.
He's gonna look like Jimmy Buffett in the handshake line next time. Alan, go ahead. What are your Pumas, Birmingham?
Yeah, I mean, international friendly. Everybody plays. I think they won't want to lose. That's for sure. So I don't think the score is that important, but the impact of losing back home would not be acceptable. So I think they'll try to make sure that they come out on the top. But other than that, no injuries. I mean, it's just like the same old. So I am
Trevor's
a little
gonna come out and say
concerned.
that too. He's gonna be like, hey, Danny, remember, I beat a Liga MX side.
It was weird because we beat Atlas but lost to Juarez.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, who knows? It all depends on who shows up. I mean, could be that, just like 3 starters and see some 15-year-old kids, from their academy with 3 numbers. So
Connor Rutt's up top for us on Saturday, yeah?
Let's not go overboard. I just get the sense that maybe the tickets aren't moving too quick on this game. It just seems odd that this isn't getting as much traction. I mean, I mentioned this in the past too. It's just like leading up to this, but you know what? We've wanted an international for a while. We got one, so we'll have lots of people there. If we're the only ones cheering, then it's good for us.
Kind of feel like it's like the NISA Championship game summer 21, where Sean Mann kept saying tickets weren't moving. But then we get there the day of the game, and nobody could fucking move because there was so.
Hopefully that's true. All I know is they're pushing group sales, and to me that says they're not selling a lot of tickets.
Oh, I hope it's Finn, actually, because I'm driving straight from the airport on the way back from Copa America, straight to Keyworth. So I'm going to be in there like right at 7. So,
Are you coaching at Copa America?
I wish. No, just going there to watch Keys Bay, actually. So,
Oh. Alan, did you have any thoughts on Birmingham and whether or not Danny can follow in Trevor's footsteps there?
I have it on good authority that they're a scrubby ass team. So that's
What are your thoughts on Enzo Martinez?
Too hairy.
Alan,
nobody needs that in their life.
I'm argue that I'm almost hairier than Enzo Martinez right now because I at least have hair on the side.
Oh, wow. See about that.
Let's close out the show by talking a little bit about Ali Coote. His departure came out today. That it was confirmed today that they did sell him to, who did they sell him to again? Shelbourne of the Irish, what is it, the first league in Ireland?
Ireland.
Undisclosed fee. I'm sure we won't find out officially what that was, but Ali Coote finishes up 11 matches with City, 1 goal, 1 assist, was part of a pretty impressive trio of himself, Maxi, and Elvis earlier on in the year. Arguably one of the more effective trios that we saw in USL Championship to start the season. Definitely helped contribute to the hot start that City was on. Then it just seemed after Elvis went down, wheels kind of came off a little bit. We ended up play definitely was affected to the point where he was pretty non-existent these last few weeks. I believe his last start was against Phoenix in that 1-1 draw. And then his last appearance was coming on, I believe, in like the 62nd minute against Orange County, and that was it. Found out after the game after the doubleheader Saturday that they did sell him. Nolan did the tweet, and then that was it. The club confirmed it today. So, Jaime, thoughts on the departure of Ali Coote and what you think this could mean moving forward for the men's side?
I mean, it's just like you say. He started off the season so well. It really feels like a bummer. He seemed to really have good understanding with Elvis Amo and Maxi Rodriguez, and yeah, it was like some players come, they're new, like from across the pond, and you're like, oh, they're gonna need like 12 months to adapt to soccer in the United States. But he just hit the ground running, and he looked so good in those early matches. It really felt like this was going to be a big signing for us. And, you know, I mean, going forward, he's barely featured in the last however many weeks. So, you know, it feels like we've kind of righted the ship without him. So in that sense, it doesn't seem like such a big loss. But obviously it's a long season, and so now from the squad that broke preseason camp, you know, Lewis is gone, and now Ali Coote is gone. And obviously we've added Becerra, so that kind of balanced. But it still feels like maybe could use a player or two. You know, this, like Garrett was saying, this run of matches is looming. So from a squad perspective, it's a bummer. But you know, we've done all right in these last few matches without him. So,
how do you think Ben Morris has done these past few weeks? Has Ben Morris' play helped to offset?
I'll tell you who loves Ben Morris is John Morrissey loves Ben Morris. That guy cannot stop licking Ben Morris's face. Yeah, he's done fine. Like, you know,
there's our of this evening.
He's done fine. I don't
face licking.
Title this episode: Morrissey can't stop licking Ben Morris's face.
Can we please do that? That would be amazing.
Morris, let's more.
But he's not a goal scorer, but he's playing fine. I think he's getting involved.
5 more goals, and I bet
5 more goals. He's got to score it. Oh yeah, that's right, 5. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'll have to rerun the math, but I think he's on pace for about 4. So.
Favorite thing is trying to get Jaime to say good things about Ben Morris. Alan,
he's got a very nice golf swing, I have to
say. When we signed Allie, I think people were genuinely excited. Came from Bohemians, fairly experienced player. Came up in the Scottish leagues, and I would say he was the marquee signing. That was the signing that we thought we were going to kind of build the new attack around. And so I'm disappointed that he's leaving. I'm disappointed it didn't work out, but that happens. And especially some of the players coming in from across the pond, as they say. This is just a different environment than they're used to. Just endless travel, not great facilities, ourselves included. And some people adapt to it and some don't. And it sounds like he had an opportunity to go back to play in Ireland, and that he took it. And, who knows, probably the last few weeks that's been in the works. So that could be a reason why he hasn't shown up on the game day squads. At some point when you've decided this is it and you've worked it out with the club that, I'm done here. There's really no reason to put them in. So the transfer window in Ireland opens July 1st. So I think they were just kind of waiting for that to roll around. Now it's out. So it's like, okay, the deed is done. I think in Nolan's article in the news, there was some mention about perhaps the club was going to look at bringing in a backline replacement or backline reinforcements with the salary space that this opens up. So that's an interesting development. They're not looking to replace like for like necessarily. So
that would be
It makes sense, even though we probably do need some more support in the attack just for backup, but you could say that about the back line too. So
yeah, I was going to say, any team could always use more scoring. It's like in baseball, you could never have enough pitching. It just seems like if Devin and Stevie go down, then we're fucked. Yeah. You can get a little creative up top with, like what Garrett was saying earlier on. You play Maxi up a little higher. You have Victor. You have, you still have Yazid. You have Ben Moore. There's different things that you can do up top. But, are you going to play Matt Sheldon at center back? Are you going to play Alex Villanueva at center back? Are you going to play Brett Levi's at center back? It just seems like it seems like the loss of Matt Lewis was a lot bigger than maybe anybody anticipated, and it's something we really haven't had to experience yet because Steven and Devin haven't been out for any long period of time. Which, if that were to happen, then I don't know what the hell we do. But Garrett, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, in the scrum, media scrum with Dan Dikia, which you can see on the Major Detroit YouTube channel, one of the things Danny did mention was get a defender in, because especially if we lose, like you said, we're an injury away from crisis. He talked about having a thin squad right now, and I think he's even bluntly in that thing said, "Well, we spend the least money." It's unfortunate, I think, to see Ali Coote leave. It was something when even before he was officially announced that in European football, Irish football, lower league English football, the debate was, it's Bohemians player Ali Coote. It's either going to Oldham Athletic, like maybe Oldham or Detroit City. We're like, what the fuck? Because this was around, we didn't even have Danny yet, I don't think, announced, or just a week or two in. And then he gets the number 10 shirt. There's only been one other person that's worn that shirt, really, lately, and that's Cyrus Sadie. So, it seems like from Sean Spence put out a good piece of words about shapes today. Check that out if you're subscribed to his Patreon. It sounded like homesickness crisis. So, you get it. The dude's playing far away from home for the first time on the other side of the point. He gets to it. I just hope that, it sounds like it was good. Both player and club left it on good terms. Sounded like, I think we were compensated enough, it seems like. But I feel like we need to fill the defensive hole, because the only other center back we can really slot in right now off the top of my head is Mike Bryan, which, to be honest, with Sheldon starting to get the nod at right back a little bit, may not be a bad move to start putting Mike in for one of Steve and Devin if we're doing these every 3 games. Like, you look at your matchups, but we need to get a little bit, we need some shore, especially when you look at, I feel like in years past, one of our strongest traits was defense, and we were always looking for attack. Now we seem we have enough attacking options. I'm not just talking about Maxi playing higher up. I'm talking about, Reese being higher up now. Ben, Zeed's got a little bit more pep in the step. But Sarah, Espeleta when you need to. And I'd be curious also, too, is this an opportunity? Because I think Adam, when we did a Make City Make Spence, wasn't Spence thinking that it could be a chance for Gasser to maybe he's seen his way into this club more as a potential fitting in as a center back as opposed to a midfield?
I don't know, because Gasso hasn't been featured at all.
He has been.
These past few weeks either. So, maybe at the time, but now there's
because even
there's certain things about this season that are kind of falling into place with what Danny's wants to do and who he is going to continue to feature game in and game out. And right now, there's 2 players aside from Ali, who obviously, there's other things happening, behind the scenes with him and, getting transferred and everything. But Daniel Espeleta and Dominic Gasso have been pretty non-existent these past couple of weeks. So, there hasn't been an injury report. There hasn't been anybody on the injury report. So you can only assume that they're the odd man out in this sense right now with Danny. And
but in some ways,
it's not surprising.
No, in some ways it makes sense. Like, you think that a guy who signed as a trialist and a kid who's still 19 or 20,
absolutely.
You hope that they wouldn't have to have big minutes. If everything goes according to plan. But
I think one thing we also want to take a look at is the 2 teams just finished their spring UPSL season. Finished that season a lot better than how it started off.
Yeah, right.
Because it was fucking. We were looking apparently like, now I know how FC Indiana felt. To say it, to give people a hint, I'm wondering. It seems like a lot of our younger kids are featuring in training more often.
I heard Jaime was trying to put his resume through to try to take over the 2-team coaching wise.
Oh my God.
Adam had a banner ready to go. It had nothing to do with me.
Imagine those pre-match clips or those things viral in an instant. But I think it'll be very interesting to see if we start to see more of that. I think you can get defense first. I think we're, especially in midfield, because we're also, when you're talking about players that are becoming this part of this side, even Ryan Williams somebody that I didn't know how much of a role he was going to get into the squad when we brought him in. Ryan Williams is basically being a guaranteed sub now that he's rolling in there, to the point where, it's even like if Connor's making the squad, but after Espeleta and Gasso, Connor's the one that's scraping for minutes now, which tells you that we're shifting. The cycles are starting to be shifted around.
And even, to that point, even I think Sheldon kind of usurping the right back spot from Bryant is part of that same shit. That's a big move by DKO, for a player who's been here for a while, who's obviously popular with the fans and all that. That's another shift that, I didn't see it coming, honestly. But he does, Sheldon's played well, I gotta say. I didn't think he really had that much left in the tank when we signed him over the winter. But I mean, there are these shifts where I feel like DKO is making this his team, and maybe making some of these personnel decisions that obviously we didn't see last year, in Trevor's last year. So,
do you, in your guys? We all know how this club works. Sometimes more than we really want to at times. We know we have a fixture-heavy run for these next 2 months. If you were to throw something at the dartboard, we bring in a defensive reinforcement. I'll say before middle of July, before or after. What do people think? Adam.
Before.
Jaime.
Yeah, probably before.
Alan.
If we're going to get someone in, it makes sense to get him in,
Yeah. Alan.
Yeah, I think we're already starting to see some teams move some parts around, around the league. We're starting to see some players either on loan or get released or whatever. So I think it'll be sooner rather than later. And I would be shocked if it wasn't someone from within USL, so a USL player.
I think, for me personally, in years past, the move seemed to have been obvious, but I felt like the Victor Becerra move when we brought him in was kind of a bit out of nowhere, which is a good thing. It's a great thing to have, which means that perhaps we're already doing our work, and maybe that defensive guy is already there. If that's the case, then maybe he gets announced before mid-July. But if it's a bit like last year, then we might be. But I think they know. I think when Matt retired, was on that week going into the season, I think caught people off guard. But now it's now we realize, I think Trevor realized that, and after the Pittsburgh game in particular, maybe the Houston game, we would advance in the Open Cup, but we gave up 3 goals. All right, we got to start playing this. So I agree with you. I hope it's before, but I also it might have to be after mid-July.
Well, I think once it was clear that Ali was leaving, I'm sure Trevor's working the phones now. So
yeah,
and they know exactly the type of player they need to get. So there's no questions about that. It's just a matter of who wants to come and finish out the season, potentially get a longer deal. So
making any trips to England at all?
I wonder if he's made any trips to Canada or South America or. I mean,
maybe he's so relaxed because he's hitting the beach in Argentina or someplace. I don't know.
Been going to Cal.
I don't know if you want to hit the beach in Argentina. Right? Isn't it winter down there right now?
Oh yeah. Well, you'd have to wear your coat, but
yeah.
They went to California, right? Sure, I felt like they went to California when they were away. So you never know. Let the speculation commence, y'all.
Well, yes.
Any final thoughts though? Anybody before we wrap things up here tonight? Alan, Garrett, Jaime. Garrett, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, if anybody's doing the doubleheader on Saturday, take care of yourselves. The weather's supposed to be, what's the current high set to be? 94, 95 degrees.
90 plus. That's all I care about.
So
the difference between 92 and 94, I don't measure that.
I feel like I'm in for game 1 for sure on Saturday, just because I want to see how the women do against Kalamazoo. I may at least make part of the friendly against Pumas, but we'll see on there too.
I will say this. If Garrett sticks around for any part of the friendly, he will stay for the entire friendly. But go ahead.
Sicko's a sicko traits, baby. Also, the Amici's pizza lately has been dope. So, shout out to, if y'all don't know, you'll learn to know eventually. But no, everyone be all good. Congratulations again. I really understand not to all in the women's side. That win over Midwest is significant for where this club's at right now. Hey, coaching staff, all the players that have been in and molding in. It's been a great season so far, and we know it's going to be better and there's still more to come.
I mean, you had your hand raised, so go ahead.
No, I was just going to say peace.
Oh, I'm saying peace.
Well, if he's saying peace, then I'm saying peace.
And if you're saying peace, then I'm going to say, make sure you, we're halfway through Pride Raiser, so go to ngs.prideraiser.org, get your pledges in for Pride Raiser. And also, I'm going to go ahead and announce it right now that we will probably be having a silent auction this coming Saturday at the friendly for, remember those friendly bobbleheads that they were passing out a few weeks ago? Well, we got like a bunch of them, and we're probably going to have the men's side sign one per player, and we'll have those out for a silent auction this coming Saturday. Go down. Yeah, so exactly. If you want to get in on the silent auction for one of these signed friendly bobbleheads, then you'll have to first go to the match. Second, head to the Pride Raiser tent. And then third, put your name down for a dollar amount in that silent auction. So stay tuned for more on that in the next coming days. So
I was just thinking of something. Majors, Adam, where can they check out some written stuff written by, especially some great articles written? You need to take a bow for some of the stuff you've been writing in lately related to city stuff. We may have some more pieces coming out. Everything going on, men's and women's.
451.themajorsports.com, Detroit.themajorsports.com. You can also find our videos. Find the 451 YouTube by heading to 451.themajorsports.com or youtube.com/majorstv. So,
and we got and anyone wondering when we'll have something with Spence at the end of the week also too. So that'll be in the pipeline. So we got a lot of good stuff going on. A lot of great things. The live stuff that's also been dropping in. Jaime joining me late in there. Alan and Adam's stuff on there. Red trying to cause tension in the comment chants.
Connor Rutz, I got a bone to pick with you, son. Yeah. Saw you on a little show the other day. You were interviewed by your little buddy, Matt Sheldon. On the show, you said it was your first podcast. Well, it wasn't your first interview on a podcast. Yeah. March 16th, 2022. The 451 podcast interviewed you, chump. I know the date because it's the birthday of my ex-wife. I got your number now, boy. I got your number. You ain't never gonna forget. I challenge you. I challenge you, Connor Ruts. To a thumb wrestling match in the Dirty South during a women's home match. If you're man enough, you will never forget again. 451 rules the world.
Get used to what you see, cause we'll be round a while. The rules on the scene, wipe your feet when you creep through the gates of Key. We holding the crown, many enter our grounds, but they get pounded down. Let's turn around, you enter through those gates, you face your fate now. Come take your shot, many come, but they don't leave, they cleave to what we got.